Please identify yourself and ask the question.
I'm Commander Gunsekar from Sri Lanka Navy. My question goes to Mrs. Gunawardena, and this is regarding that you said that happiness index is, I saw this, there are certain criteria to select the happiness index, but one of the main criteria is per capita income as per the GDP per capita. And when we consider a country like Singapore, but actually when I was there, they said their younger generation is the, I don't know now, but at that time it is the most frustrated younger generation in the world. And they said no, they are not they are not opting for the marriage and all in Singapore younger. What is the reason behind that thing? Because they had the, they are a well-developed country, and per capita is more than many times than us, but I found something lapses in there.
Reason is this per capita income, that is the financial capability, is only just one factor affecting the happiness. Now, according to the Bhutan studies, because I'm always quoting Bhutan because they're the people who have initiated this, and they are the people who have developed the most extensive GNH index as in the world so far. So they have identified actually 9 pillars, 9 factors, which the GDP is just only one factor. That is maybe the reason why in the United Nations list also, the happiness index, the Scandinavian countries are topping the list, because Denmark is #1, and like the Scandinavian countries are topping, and even USA is also ranked at the 13th place. Not that because they are like, their economy is bad, but the people are not happy. People have other problems, and they have, they're psychologically, this has something to do with the human psychology as well. So they're psychologically not stable. So probably that is the reason why Singapore is also facing the problem. But for each and every country, this index has to be unique. So you will have to do a study based on their cultures and their background in order to identify the exact causes if you want it specifically for that country. That's a challenge we have.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning, sir. I'm Hashan Senadira from Intech 32. My question goes to Ms. Premaratna. I need to know, you said Sinhala people didn't use the poison weapons, but I need to know what about the other peoples? I mean, other terrorist people, are they used in poison weapons to attack Sri Lankan at that stage, Sri Lankan forces? Are they used that poison weapons or not? Thank you.
Okay. You can answer. Basically the question is, සිංහල හමුදාවන් විස සහිත ආයුධ පාවිච්චි නොකලත් සිංහල හමුදාවන්ට විරුද්ධව සටන් කළ සතුරන් එවැනි විස සහිත ආයුධ පාවිච්චි කළාද යන්න. You can answer in Sinhala.
අර ජාවක සේනාව මේ ලාංකිකයන්ට විරුද්ධව විෂ සහිත මේ හි භාවිතා කරා කියනවනේ. ඉතින් ඒකට සාධක තියෙනවා.
Are there any other questions? Yes. The microphone, please, over here.
මම කමාන්ඩර් මහගෙදර ශ්‍රී ලංකා නාවික හමුදාවේ මගේ ප්‍රශ්නය යොමු කරන්න කැමති මංජුලා මෙනවියට මට දැනගන්න කැමති මොන වගේ රාජ්‍ය අනුග්‍රහයක්ද තිබුණේ මධ්‍යකාලීන යුගයේ මෙම අවි අවුත් නිෂ්පාදනයේට මේ සඳහා මොන වගේ පිරිසක්ද යෙදුවේ ඉංජිනේරු වගේ පිරිසක්ද නැත්නම් මොන වගේ තාක්ෂණික ක්‍රමද උපයෝගී කරගත්තේ කියලා බොහොම ස්තුතියි.
අර ලෝකුරුව වඩුව වගේ අය තමයි මේවා නිෂ්පාදනය කරා කියලා කියන්නේ. එතකොට ඔය හීයක් ගත්තොත් ඒකේ තලය සකස් කරන්නේ ලෝහයෙන්. එතකොට ඒක ලෝකුරුවන් ලවා කෙරෙව්වයි කියනවා. එතකොට දැවෙන් තමයි කඩුව ගත්තත් ඒ විදිහට දැව වඩුව ලවා තමයි ඒකේ මිට නිෂ්පාදනය කරා කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒ වගේම තමයි දැන් පරාක්‍රම බාහුගෙන් හැම දෙවෙනි පරාක්‍රම බාහුගෙන් පළවෙනි පරාක්‍රම බාහුගෙන් ඒ සඳහා මේ කියන්නේ සහායක් හම්බ වෙලා තියෙනවා ඒවා නිෂ්පාදනය කරන්න. ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ හමුදාවල් වල දැන් පළවෙනි පරාක්‍රම බාහුව ගත්තාම පළවෙනි පරාක්‍රම බාහුවගේ හමුදාවේ ඇතුලේ බොහොමයක් යුද්ධ බටයෝ ඉඳලා තියෙනවා එක එක අංශයන් සඳහා. එතකොට පළවෙනි පරාක්‍රම බාහුවගෙන් මේ සඳහා විශේෂ අනුග්‍රහයක් හම්බ වෙලා තියෙනවා.
ස්තුතියි.
මැඩම් මගේ ප්‍රශ්නේ මැඩම්ට තමයි එක එක රාජධානි වල එක එක කාලවල එක එක විදිහට ආයුධ නිෂ්පාදනය කරා. ඒ වගේ මැඩම් කරපු රිසර්ච් එකෙන් හම්බුණාද ඒ වගේ ආයුධ වල ක්වොලිටි එක. ඒ කියන්නේ ගුණාත්මක භාවයේ වැඩි දියුණු වෙච්ච එකක් හරි කොහේ හරි කාල සීමාවක ඒක අඩු වෙලා තියෙනවද? නැත්නම් දිගටම කන්ටිනියුස් ඉම්ප්‍රූව්මන්ට් වැඩි දියුණු වීමක්ද උනේ කියන එක? ඒ ආයුධ වල ගුණාත්මක භාවය
ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් නම් මට හම්බුනේ නෑ. සමස්තයක් විදිහට ගත්තාම අර විදිහට තමයි නිෂ්පාදනය කරා කියලා කියන්නේ. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් කියන්නේ ප්‍රාථමික මූලාශ්‍රය වලින් මට එහෙම මොකුත් හම්බුන්නේ නෑ.
Thank you.
I'm Kitsari Amaratunga from the Department of Languages, and my question goes to Ms. Gunawardena. It was a wonderful topic of happiness because something that we all are lacking sometimes. And my question would be whether you consider these age categories in your research, because happiness is relative to age. When we were children, we had different kind of happiness, and today we are having different kinds of happiness. So did you consider that aspect? That is one thing. And the next question would be whether how you are going to connect this happiness index that you're thinking of formulating would be will be concerned about national development, and how do you connect it with national development?
Yes, sir. Answering the first question, the happiness has an impact from the age, because the previous studies have found out that the happiness levels, even in the same country, depends on different factors in the infants and the children and the adolescent and the adults. So in my research, I have taken only the people from the age 21 to 60, sir. So like they are considered as adults, but maybe if we consider the younger generation, their happiness the happiness factors would differ. But one of the challenges we have is when we consider the youngest ones, how can we gather data? Like, are they capable enough to express the feelings that they have got in terms of research? So that is the reason why we have confined it to 21 to 60. But there are some other countries where they have identified factors through extensive research which are different to different age groups. And answering your second question, sir, yes, we need to develop the National Happiness Index, and every policy making, if we can consider the requirements of the people in terms of that, not just considering the economic development, like as far as I know, this is in practice right now in Bhutan. Every policy making goes through the gross national happiness index. So if we can develop the same for the entire country, and we can use it for the policy making of the country as well, sir. So it will have an impact on each and every decision which has been taken by the policy makers of the country.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Well, I would like to make a comment on your presentation, although I did not hear your presentation. What I thought is, I have been in Bhutan for few days when I realized that although Bhutan talks about gross national happiness, they are working in isolation, and they are gradually going towards the economic indicators. They are gradually, happiness index is not much considered. They are talking in terms of now gradually moving towards economic indicators than happiness. Of course, they have not compromised happiness, but working happiness index in isolation is not easy. That is I thought, one and only country who talks highly about happiness index. So that is what I realized when I was there. I met a couple of senior officials also. So they also believe happiness is one of the major indicators in the society, but they can't work in isolation. They are looking forward for developing their economic indicators and indexes. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Hasanthi Chandratilaka from Intake 32. My question goes to Ms. Gunawardena again. My question is, what are the suggestions do you have to increase the happiness level of Sri Lanka? Thank you.
For that, we need to take into consideration the factors, and we will have to take now, if we take it as a country, we will have to take the entire country as a sample for that. And then the policies and the procedures or the laws of the country has to be addressed in terms of developing what is called the subjective well-being of people. So where every factor, not only the economy, but all the other factors are being taken into consideration in the development, so that in the long run we can go for what is called the sustainable development, because the development is not just happening now and it's going to end in another 1 or 2 months time. So it will be sustainable, so the people will be right throughout, like their psychological well-being would be uplifted. You're welcome.